Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe for more Attack on Titan videos. Today, we are doing a reaction and discussion. If you guys don't know, my full-length timer and subtitle reaction that you press play when I press play, and you can sync up with me and watch my full reaction, that is on Patreon. This is instead a reaction where we do the biggest moments, the coolest moments, and then afterwards, we do a discussion. So if you guys are cool with that, why don't we just get into it? Let's go. Damn. Oh wow, that's a call out, isn't it? If I've ever seen one. Yeah, what if Armin and Mikasa want Annie to be the new Eren? I know that sounds kind of weird, but think about it. They don't want Jean, they don't want Connie, or I guess I should say Jean, right? They don't want Jean, they don't want Connie. Mikasa can't have it. Armin is already like sort of out of time in a way because like he already got the powers, so his time is like dwindling, and they want someone that replaces Eren. And Annie isn't necessarily trustworthy, but what if, I don't know, scout recruits? Aren't the scout recruits like Flotion stuff? What if they're helping with the coup? Damn. Oh no, guys, don't do this. It's too late. Uh-oh! Ah, no! Oh my god, yeah, I think they just blew up that man! Who was that? Was that the commander? That they were just talking to? Oh, he's toast! It was those guys! I knew something fishy was going on! They're doing a coup, bro! Those people that brought it, they want to get rid of them, bro! He's dead! Bro! Half his body's gone, he's dead! Damn! Oh no! Yep! No! Oh yeah, it is Flotion them! It has to be! Uh-oh. 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 Everything's falling apart. Uh-oh. A coup. A coup is happening. Oh, man. Eren's not that different from Gabi and Falco. Gabi and Falco escaped. He's escaping. It's, you know? Yeah. See, and Flotion them escapes too. They're doing some Jesus imagery with him, eh? Like, I feel like the shirtless thing and, like, the barefoot thing, like, I get it. He was in a cell, but... Damn. Allies hiding in the military. Eren made his own little coup. Damn. Yeah, they blew him up. Damn. This is such a good scene. Damn. Oh, my God. Armin always thinks talking it out's gonna work. Ah, that's a nice shot. Oh, let's go get him. Oh my god, what a good episode, guys. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, Mikasa's dragging this lady for filth. Oh, man. Damn. Uh-oh. So Mikasa's like, you don't give a shit about me. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh, well, that's interesting. Feel bad. Oh, Gabi and Falco. Oh man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Pieck? Oh my god. everybody, let us get into the discussion now. Now, this one is gonna be a good one. I can feel it. I have some theories. There's a lot to discuss here, especially because it was mostly dialogue, not a lot of action. So, let us start with Annie. It's very interesting how they keep panning back to Annie. Like, I feel like we're definitely building towards something. And with Pieck and Porco seemingly on the island, I mean, we only saw Pieck, but they could be on the island, and so I feel like that it could go one of two ways. Either Eren will try to break her out. I don't know if, like, his Warhammer Titan stuff can work against, like, her encasing, though, or her crystallizing. It may just need to be Jaw. But if Porco is around, like, he could break her out, and I feel like that could be the thing. Like, I feel like that could definitely be a thing. I feel like they're going somewhere with this. I'm surprised that Armin didn't try to sneak back in here amidst all the chaos. Like, while Hitch was outside and they were dealing with explosions and stuff, why not just sneak in and go, you know, get some Annie memories or whatever he's trying to do, right? That's what I was confused about. I love her. We stan. We have no choice but to stan. Like, I don't think I've seen her before, and if I have, I don't remember. So, love her. Love to see it. I don't know why I like her so much. And at first, like, Armin was acting so still, like, almost childlike, I guess. Like, almost like a kid, like a teenager, that I thought that this was actually in the past, but this is in the present. And I thought that was really interesting because he's just acting so much more like himself, I guess, compared to other characters. So yeah, during my reaction, I was sort of sitting here like, oh, is this like in a flashback? Like, Armin seems so much younger, but it's actually like in the present, and I thought that was really interesting, and I love her. She's just like, hey, like, don't touch her. Like, you're not allowed to do that, right? You don't know what'll happen. But like, I would be really, really interested in seeing Armin go down here and break some rules, you know? Titan memories have been known to transfer by touch, right? I thought I might learn something important, and so I really like that she's basically just calling him a perv, but I think it's more jokingly, and I think that this was like such a big call out. Like, this was a call out to us. Like, we were being called out right here, especially with the oh, what does she say? She's like, unbelievable, you're so popular and all you do is sleep, right? Like, I feel like that was such a big call out, but I really like this. Like, she seems like such a nice, like, lighthearted character. Like, you know, like, she jokes around with him. Like, I thought that this was really nice. I really like their conversation right here. So yeah, I definitely feel like this was like a call out towards us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've been like, where's Annie for like such a long time, and she hasn't even done anything in like 2 seasons basically. Like, it's been a minute, okay, right? It's great that you've got a crush on her, but have you heard the news? And so again, this must be in the present, right? Because he's reading the newspaper, and so we have military clings to power by wrongfully detaining Eren, and then we have distrust in the military soars higher, right? So we're getting into that like people's revolution, a coup, all of that sort of stuff that we talked about last week. So I feel like that was really, really good because they're not giving the public any answers, right? And so I feel like these are compounding issues. And I feel like that's something that Prixis says later when it's like, hey, we have no choice. We can't afford to waste time infighting about this issue, so we'll just like let Eren do what he wants. Like, I feel like that at this point, the public supports Eren, half of the military supports Eren. Like, what are you gonna do? You just need to know when you're beat at some point. And so I feel like if the public supports him and half of the military supports him, like, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but isn't that democracy? Isn't popular vote democracy? I know that it's more complicated than that, right? I'm just joking around with you guys, but you guys understand what I mean. Right? And so they're all like fighting for Eren, right? And so I feel like, again, like, this is what the people want. Like, who are you to say that the people should not put their trust in him, right? Like, he's almost the pseudo-elected official in a sense. And like, I think that to some extent, Eren is a lot less corrupt than those, like, for example, the guys that were shit-talking Historia, right? In the other episode. And so I don't know, like, am I bad, guys? Like, am I bad? Do I just have a habit? You guys see Lelouch back there. Do I have a habit of rooting for the bad guys? Like, I'm the girl that roots for Light and Death Note. I'm the girl that roots for Lelouch and Code Geass. And so maybe there's just something wrong with me, but at this point I'm like, like, should you guys really be stopping Eren? You know what I mean? But yeah, and so obviously they need a hand, and I love her. I love how she's just like almost, I don't want to say lazy. I don't want to characterize her as lazy, but I like this personality trait that, oh, I gotta do work, right? Like, I really enjoy her character, even though this is the first time I remember seeing her this prominently. So Mikasa and Armin meet up to talk to the commander man or whatever whatever, I think they call them the premier, and then we see like these like scouts, they're being a little suspicious, right? And as soon as I saw them, I was like, guys, the coup is happening, it's happening, right? Like that was sus as fuck. But I am surprised, like when I saw Armin and Mikasa, I was like, well, wouldn't this be the perfect time to go like see Annie without anybody bothering you, because there's this public distraction on the outside? Like it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen now, at least not at this point. I don't really have a lot to say about this conversation. I do feel like that I'm missing something about it, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm missing. And I know that sounds silly, and maybe you guys can help me out with that, right? But like, she goes to see Eren, and like, I get it. Like, I get like the progression of this conversation to a point, and I'll explain what I guess I don't understand the significance of. That's enough reason to detain the volunteers, and so basically she's offering up that information, right? And so like, they didn't have purpose, they didn't have cause. They didn't have cause. They did not have cause to detain the volunteers before, but now they do because Yelina saw Eren, right? The way I saw it, you guys didn't know the world. If you kept arguing and putting it off, it would be too late. Eren felt that same sense of urgency too, right? And so like they all think that Eren's being manipulated, but I don't really think that that's the case. But then they say, so you convinced Eren to infiltrate Marley alone to get our military moving. And she said, not quite. I said someone needed to light a fire under the administration, right? And so this is what I mean. Like everyone's treating Eren as if he's been brainwashed by Zeke or something, but I don't really see that in Eren's characterization. To me, Eren is just deciding these things onto himself, if that makes sense. Like Eren is making all the decisions, right? I don't think that she, like maybe her words were a bit manipulative, like what else are you supposed to take from that, right? Like someone needs to light a fire, right? But like you didn't need to light a fire like that. That was Eren's choice. And so I feel like that ultimately, I don't think that he's as manipulated as everyone is characterizing him to be. On the other hand, I have seen people throw around like, oh, Zeke is a double agent, which I think that would kind of be stupid. I mean, if the show could pull it off, I would love to see it, right? But I don't want it. I want Zeke to be fighting for Eldia, not to be a double agent. Like, he betrayed Marley for Eldia, now he's betraying Eldia for Marley. Like, I think that that's ridiculous, and I don't really want to see that, so I hope not. But yeah, you risked a secret meeting without discussing any concrete plans. And so here's the thing about her, okay? What Prixis needs to understand, I don't think I'm saying this man's name right, by the way, but anyway, like what he needs to understand is that she does not give a fuck. Like she is kind of just obsessed with both of them, right? She's obsessed with Zeke, and I think she's obsessed with Eren, and we sort of see that. And so I feel like that she just wanted to see him. Like she just wanted to see the great Eren, you know? Like that's how I sort of feel about it. Given our position, we weren't allowed to meet with him in public. You succeeded in manipulating Eren just as Zeke hoped you would. But again, I don't think that Eren was manipulated, right? What would be the point in that? All I wanted was for Eren to know who I was, right? And so again, I don't think she manipulated him. I just think that she genuinely like wanted to know him, I guess. And I think that she's like obsessed with them, and that's gonna be like a thing, right? It's kind of like, you know what I mean about like Mikasa and Eren like sort of fulfilling cycles? Like Eren, I guess Eren was turned into the monster that he is now because of Reiner. And then Eren turned Gabi into a little bit of a monster too. And then simultaneously, I talked about the fact that Mikasa turned that girl like into basically another like little Mikasa, right? Like, oh my god, what was the girl's name? The girl that she threw in the cells. And that girl is obsessed with Mikasa for saving her, just like how Mikasa is obsessed with Eren for saving her on that day, right? Like we talk about cycles all the time. And I think that in this case, it's not necessarily a cycle, but it's more of a parallel. Like Yelina is to Zeke, Mikasa is to Eren. And so I feel like the purpose of Yelina's character is to sort of showcase that, is to showcase the contrast, but also the similarities between her and Mikasa. You see her obsession for Zeke and Eren, right? And you see Mikasa's obsession with Eren, but they're contrasting now. Like they're going in two different directions as well. We wanted Eren's founding titan to crush Marley into dust. Just like we had hoped, he inflicted heavy damage onto Marley. No, he exceeded expectations, right? And so she's like putting him up on this pedestal like a god, right? He delivered the divine retribution, right? That is how she sees them, right? And I feel like there's a lot of biblical imagery, especially later in this episode. Like you see Eren being shirtless and like shoeless. He's shoeless. Yeah, so he's shoeless and he's shirtless, and that has like some Jesus-y imagery to me, but we'll get to that when we get to that. For him to achieve such things is proof he possesses the founder, right? And so again, she's sort of treating him like this god, and I think that that's super interesting for her character, especially in contrast to Mikasa, because I feel like that, yes, Mikasa kind of has like an unhealthy obsession with Eren sometimes. I think that she's pulling away from that, and I think that that's going to be really interesting, and maybe Yelina will sort of boost Eren's ego in a way that Mikasa probably won't anymore. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Mikasa, because people are sort of sussing her. Like, I think Connie or Jean is like, whose side are you on anyway, right? So that's going to be an interesting thing. And I love this. History is about to change before our eyes, right? And so I feel like that this is why Prixis's attitude changed about Eren. I think that that's the nuance that I was missing that I've now just realized, right? Because I feel like that this conversation with Yelina about history is about to change. We are witnessing this like pinnacle, this turning point. I think that he realized that he is either going to be with them or he's going to be against them at this point. It's really just that simple, right? And I feel like that's going to be super interesting because again, we see that scene where he's just like, well, Eren's got us beat. Nothing we can do but comply with him now. Like, I feel like that's also true, right? Because I think that history will change whether or not you like it. And he also says that thing about Zachary being, you know, a revolutionary, right? And so I think that he knows, like, the revolutions, like, of the people, like, will not be necessarily stopped. It's like if you can't beat him, join him type of thing. And, like, his way will prevent more bloodshed. And so I feel like that's, like, the important thing. You know what I'm saying? In other words, the main reason you met Eren was out of curiosity. Yeah, curiosity, sure. I would have said obsession, but sure, curiosity, right? Essentially, the other volunteers didn't know that I secretly met Eren, and I think that that is true because of the conversation that Hange has later, right? But she says, my actions were reckless. It's true I deceived you guys, but I did it for the sake of Eldia, right? And then I thought that she was gonna do something bad, but she just starts taking notes, and so I'm glad that she didn't, like, snap her neck or something. I was so worried. And then they say, I'd like to believe you. Tell me everything you and Eren spoke about. Do you know how to tell a good lie? Sometimes you gotta mix the truth into it. So here was the confusing part for me again. Like, I feel like that we got most of it down, that this is the conversation that sort of changed Prixis's mind on stuff. We obviously talked about Yelina's obsession. I don't understand this line about, like, do you know how to tell a good lie? Like, does he want her to lie? That's the only part where I'm a little iffy on. Like, does he want her to lie during the report for some reason? Or are they saying, like, you gotta mix some truth into it? And so is he saying, I know that you're lying to me, but do you know how to tell a good lie? Mix in some truth and then I'll sift it out what the truth is and what the lies are. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that, so you guys should definitely let me know about that one. So this guy eating the apple, I don't know why they focused on this, but they focused on him and a squirrel, and I feel like that's sus. Don't ask me, okay? Like, I know that sounds so silly, but in Attack on Titan, nothing is left up for chance, okay? And we know that I'm pretty sure that some of the, like, military commander people were, like, poisoned or something by Niccolo, and so I feel like that's gonna still be a thing. Like, okay, obviously they weren't poisoned because it seems like they're still standing, but my other theory about the Titan serum thing, like, how long would that stay in your system? Would it sort of be like alcohol, like you're still, like, hungover after a couple days? Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about stuff like that, but, like, you know, like, some people when they drink and they take even, like, a breathalyzer test, like, I don't know, like, 10 hours later or a day later, there will still be, like, little traces or something. I don't know. That may not be true. Don't quote me on that. That's a hypothetical example, right? I'm saying, would the Titan serum stay in their body, like, forever? Like, if they actually did drink it, or would it be, like, a day or two? Anyway, I think that's still gonna happen. I think that those people that drink the bad stuff, they're gonna turn into Titans. You guys can't tell me otherwise. I think that this was a really good scene, though. The railways, the trading, we made this island prosper. We gave our everything to Eldia, and so again, he's sort of like, I don't know why the fuck you guys are suspecting us. Like, we didn't do anything. We only helped you, but the reason why they're being suspected is all because of Yelina and Yelina going rogue because of her obsession with Zeke, right? And so she explains that, but yeah, this guy, something's about this guy. This guy's gonna get it. I don't know what he's gonna get, but he's gonna get it. And so then they explain, right? Yelina said she secretly met Eren in secret. Oh, I guess that was redundant. She met Eren secretly. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. But yeah, and so I read that It's okay. But yeah, you really didn't know. And so all of them are basically being thrown under the bus because of Yelina. Like, think about that, right? And so he says he had no idea, and that's why they're all being detained. That's why they're in house arrest, right? Like, they didn't do anything. But it doesn't surprise him. And why doesn't it surprise him, right? Because he knows that she's like that. I think that he knows that she's, like, low-key obsessed, right? I notice you're not saying Yelina would never do that because you know that she might, right? That's absolutely true. We've done this backwards, but now there's a reason to detain you guys. And I'm just like, what do you mean backwards, Hange? You mean that you detained them without cause, right? That's not great, but anyway. Tell me what you know about Yelina for the sake of our future. As you know, Yelina organized the volunteers. At first, people were wary and it didn't go so well. But she got her hands dirty and proved her loyalty to Zeke and the group. And then we see, like, flashes of her killing people, which again, I'm not going to show because YouTube will not like that. But I thought that it was interesting that it seems like the people that she were killing were Marleyans, because then Hange says that's weird. She was killing Marleyans, like, for you guys. But then over here, she's so sympathetic. Like, that's confusing. We buried friends we ate and slept with. Anyone who doubted us. And so again, I think that this actually may be connected somehow. And I don't know how, because like Yelina was obviously like over here and stuff, but do you guys remember that guy that jumped off the roof and that was like random and that didn't really seem like, it seemed out of place? Like, what if she did it? Like, what if she pushed him? But at the same time, like, was she even there? I don't think that, wait, was she back? No, she must have been back, right? Because Pieck says that she saw them come back on the ship. Right, not leave on the ship when the ship came back. So maybe it was her. Maybe she was killing people. I don't remember. I'm like already foggy on some of the details. But yeah, Pieck said that she remembers seeing her, Yelina, coming back, like on a scout ship that came back to Paradis. And so maybe she's the one that pushed the guy off the roof. But we pushed on for the sake of our homelands that Marley took away. Strange. She pressed our government to give Marleyans certain rights. And see, that's the thing. Like, Yelina and this guy, they aren't Marleyans. In fact, like, they're probably more similar to the Eldians. Well, I guess, like, in terms of, like, Marley's conquest, right? Like, you have the countries that Marley has conquested, and then you have, like, the Eldians, right? And so I feel like that they would be more unsympathetic. And so Hange is saying, well, that's weird. Like, she was killing Marleyans back in Marley, I'm assuming, right, that was the point. And then after, like, here she's advocating for them to have rights, but that's because the Marleyans are actually helping out here, like Niccolo poisoning people. At least I think that's what he was doing. So interestingly, right, this guy, Zachary, I think, he says that Hange is all over the place, and then he says that I permitted a volunteer to go along. And I don't know why, but I kind of find that a little sus for some reason. Especially because it showed a close-up of that guy eating an apple, and I just find that they focused on this guy, and now they're talking about it again. Like, I find that sort of sus for some reason, almost like maybe the volunteer he sent isn't the volunteer that actually ended up with Hange, and that could be a thing. At the same time, though, Hange has already come back, and so I don't know if that's going to be relevant. Like, she already, like, took the guy with her, and now she's with Jean, and Mikasa, and Armin, and Connie, and so I don't know if that's actually going to be relevant. I just thought that was kind of weird that they focused on this guy eating the apple. I don't know. And so he basically says that he can't allow them to meet Eren, and I feel like that's because people suspect them, right? Like, we don't really get the whole, like, oh, like, Eren movement in this particular scene. It happens more after, but I think that they're still being suspected in helping him a little bit. We know Eren had contact with the volunteers. Eren kept quiet about a secret meeting which resulted in the raid on Marley. We're currently investigating if anyone else was involved with it, right? And so I feel like that's code for, yeah, we sus y'all, so we can't just let you talk to him, right? Like, you guys could be in cahoots, right? And I actually do think that there is something sketchy that goes on in this episode about Armin, and so I definitely want to bring that up because I feel like that, you know, our first inclination is like, no, like Armin and Mikasa, they're not in cahoots with Eren. They even said last episode they were willing to replace him, or whatever episode that was, right? But I'm suspicious of something that happened, and I'll explain why. But let's talk about this first. We believe that Eren is being manipulated by Zeke. Again, I don't think that that's a thing. But see, if he suspected them, why is he he telling them this? I'm telling you this because it's you two, but keep quiet about it, right? He says because it's you two, right? And so it's like, if you suspect them enough to not let them go talk to Eren, like, what is this for? Is it because you think that maybe their loyalty to Eren would waver if they found out that you think that Eren is being manipulated by Zeke? I think that that could be what the angle is here. He is giving them like crumbs of information, so they start to get worried about like if they're following Eren like as Eren because they're like best friends, or if they're following Eren being manipulated by Zeke. And so I think that this was actually kind of like a calculated move by Zachary to try and be like, you know what I mean? I don't know what you call it anymore, but it's just a tactic, right? To like leak a little information. Armin can get a little info as a treat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about it. And he's like, I'm telling you this because it's you two, but he won't let you two go talk to Eren. And so I feel like that he's planting seeds of doubt in their head on purpose. So if they are aligned with Eren, they'll reconsider. So at first, Mikasa seems to think that they'll restrain Eren in the chair, but Eren already said that nothing can restrain him. I don't know if anybody else knows that though. And they're like, oh, it's nothing. I had the recruits bring it here since there was nowhere to store it. And I'm like, what? Like, whose torture chair? Like, this is so sus. And obviously they think that the chair did it and the chair exploded, right? But anyway, but if Premier, if Eren isn't talking, all the more reason I think we can help. I'm not sure we can get the truth out of him, but there's no harm in trying, right? But there is harm because he susses you guys. That's what they don't understand. The situation is too delicate. We're done talking here. He doesn't want to explain to them that he susses them. That is my opinion, but I guess we'll never know, right? Because obviously he's dead. You're right that there's no harm in talking, so why can't we? Because he susses you two so hard. One explanation might be that they've given up on Eren. I mean, kinda, like, that's fine, but I don't think that that was necessarily why. And then we see these shady people, right? Like, it seems like that, I don't know, there's something sketchy about Armin. Let's talk about the sketchy thing about Armin. I think that Armin knew about this, and here's why, okay? If that's true, they're already picking the next founding titan. Like, he doesn't even bother or, like, comment on it. Meanwhile, Mikasa seems to notice that that's, like, odd, right? And so she suggests that she will, like, listen through the door. We get the close-up of the chair, which has the bomb in it, so I thought that that was really nice. And Armin's like, wait, Mikasa, we can't risk it right now. Is that truly the reason, Armin? Is it because you can't risk it right now? Is that why? I actually think that there's something more suspicious about this. With all that's going on, we gotta find out their plan, because the strategic thing would be to listen by the door, right? But for some reason, Armin is stopping her. Nope, like, there wouldn't be any risk. Mikasa would be able to hear when they're coming out of the door, or when the door handle is turning, and they could just, like run off, right? There's not really any risk unless Armin knew that the bomb was gonna be set off. And you may be wondering to yourself, like, why would Armin go through with that if he knew? And I think it's because his whole thing is like, let's talk to Eren. Eren will sort it all out. Like, after we talk to Eren, everything will be okay. That's been Armin's whole attitude, right? And so maybe he knows about things, but he just has been letting them sort of, right? Letting them sort of happen, because in his mind, it's sort of like, yeah, like, that's part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I just gotta let Eren do his thing before, like, so I can talk to him and we can, like, sort it out. But calling him out before being able to talk to him would only, like, put him in more danger and make us more restrained from talking to him. You know what I mean? Basically, my whole thing is that maybe Armin knew that something bad was gonna happen here, but he just decided to let it happen, maybe for two reasons. Like, maybe Armin, like, has kind of changed his mind a little bit. Like, I don't know, but last episode they were so keen on replacing him, so I can't see Armin just letting, like, an innocent person be blown up. I think that the more, like, reasonable explanation maybe is that he sort of knew that this was gonna happen or something, but he let it happen because he knew that if he had foiled the plan, that would put them in a worse position for some reason. Like, that's sort of how I could see it. But I think that Armin's behavior here is super sus. And then you also get that scene later where everyone is asking, oh, which side are you on, Mikasa? And Mikasa's like, I was almost caught in the blast. Like, do you really need to ask me that? But they don't ask that to Armin. And I, for one, would really like to see Armin's facial expression over there, because I think that that could actually be kind of telling. Yeah, so this man literally got blown in half. Sorry to this man. I don't really have anything else to say. And they're just like in shock, like everyone just stops protesting, and like Hitch looks so confused, and then they see this man, and I'm like, sorry, sir, like he's dead, right? This was probably one of the most like brutal, like, I don't know, like just one of the most shocking deaths. Like it wasn't even that bloody or anything, but it was just like, you just see this man flying out a window, like what are you supposed to think? And see, Mikasa's like, Hitch, what was that? The Premier's room just, where is he? And like, this man's dead, right? But notice how Armin's not asking any questions, right? And Armin actually kind of looks a little nervous, not gonna lie. And so I don't know, I'm suspicious, right? And so the give your hearts thing, I thought that that was really cool to hear. And they're all just like, what the fuck? And though they think like, oh, this is the ghost signal. Like, you know what I mean? Like the bomb just went off. Clearly this is our time to shine. That's how these people are thinking. And that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of interesting, right? Because now the people are inspired. And so I feel like that the people and then the Eren like faction, if you want to call it that, right? They call them the Jeagerists, but I've been having problems saying that, right? And so the Eren group, like I feel like the Eren group and then the people, like they are basically feeding into each other. Premier Zachary owned a special chair and we believe the bomb was placed on it. And so I'm like, sir, your kinked chairs and what ended up killing you. But anyway, he and 3 soldiers were lost. And so I think those 3 soldiers that went in, I don't think that they were the ones that planted it. Because at first I kind of thought it was a suicide bomb thing. But now I'm sort of thinking that it's not really like that at all. I think that they were actually like giving him a report and they just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? The volunteers were on house arrest and this one was with me all day, right? And so they narrowed down that it was the scouts, it was the recruits. And we know who is with the recruits? Floch and like all of Floch's friends, right? And so this is again hinting at like all the recruits may be in on it, like lots of the military people may actually be in on it. When Mikasa and I went to his room, we saw recruits leaving HQ. And so those, I think, were the group of 3 that were outside of the window, not the people that were walking into the office, right? Scout recruits. And then this guy just looks like they all look shocked, right? And at first I was like, is that really such a surprise? But at the same time, it's like their own military, like, are betraying them, right? And I don't think that they thought that that was as big as a possibility before. Like, oh, it's just Floch leaking some info, right? But now it's sort of this, like, big thing, and I don't think that they necessarily thought that before. Yeah, and so then we get like, oh, speaking of the scouts, I heard one of them leaked info about Eren, right? And so I think that that was like really interesting how they were like, it was just like one rogue scout, but now it's like all the scouts, right? And then Eren has escaped, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to say like father, like daughter, because obviously like Eren and Gabi aren't, right? But like that's the only thing I can think of, right? Just like, you know, how Gabi escaped from the prison, Eren escaped from the prison, and like we have this Venn diagram of the similarities between Gabi and Eren, right? So it's like monster like father, like monster daughter, like because Eren is kind of what made her into the monster. So it's like that sort of thing I get. And so you see the fear on Mikasa's face, right? Because he's escaped prison and she's not there to protect him. And so I feel like that's a big thing. And she's just like, what the fuck is happening? And I thought that was really good. I really like this scene. The colors were beautiful. I feel like that there's definitely some Jesus imagery going on, especially, I don't know what it is, but it's him being on a hill and him not having any shoes and him not having any shirt. Like, I feel like that combination, look at them. They look so like freaked out, but see Armin's sweating again. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but what if Armin's nervous because he's kind of been in on it and he knows now that everything is in trouble? I mean, I guess this guy has a sweat droplet too, but you know what I mean? He may be worried about like Yelina. I just think that Armin's kind of sus. And then we have Floch. Oh, you guys told me to stop calling him Floch. I don't remember how to pronounce his name though. That just occurred to me. I remember that you guys were like, Cal, it's not Floch. It's pronounced like Flosh or something. And now I'm just like, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I'll try to remember for next time. But yeah, I love this. I love this scene. The colors were great. And then you have Eren, their savior, coming over from the horizon, right? His rock hard abs and like this beautiful sunrise or sunset or whatever. Like, look at this shot. Wow, like that's just such a nice shot. What a crowd, this everyone, and I really like that scene just because he's just like so unfazed, right? Besides us, we have allies hiding in the military. Allies hiding in the military. You know who's in the military right now? Armin, I'm just saying. Anyway, but yeah, including some who blew up, right? I don't think Armin blew up Zachary, obviously, but still. That's basically confirming that they did it, right? I don't think we needed that, like, explicit of a line, but fine, I'll let it slide, whatever. The only one that can save the Eldian Empire is you, and I like this scene of how he touches, like, the shirt, I'm assuming that is. Like, I just thought that this was a really nicely shot scene. It's okay, Mikasa. Eren will understand. If we talk to him, I'm sure he'll understand, right? And so it's again that, like, I just need to talk to him. If I can talk to him, everything will be okay, which is not true, Armin, but you know what? Like, keep believing in it, right? And I love, like, this shot. Like, look at this shot. Who who gave Eren permission to be this sexy, right? Anyway, but yeah, that's that on that, I guess. Find out where Zeke's being kept, right? And so they talk about, like, oh, is he gonna go for Historia? Is he gonna go for Zeke? I think that it's pretty obvious that he's gonna go for Zeke. I don't think that finding Historia is really a priority at this time. I do definitely think, though, that them bringing up Historia again is making my, like, Eren baby daddy theory continue. But anyway, I like this. So information available, a new name for Eldia used by those on Paradis who are sympathetic with Eren's actions. They have rallied around Eren and the name, causing disorder on the island, which is currently divided on whether to attack the other nations or not, right? You have Floch, I think, is over here somewhere. You obviously have, like, the girl. I think that she's the most obvious one. So I thought that this was, like, a nice little, like, information thing, even though, like, we clearly already know this. But we didn't get, like, a second one. Like, usually, don't we get two usually? Like, one back to back? I don't remember. I think maybe we used to, but now this one was just the one. Floch and 100 soldiers and guards vanished from the prison. They're thought to have defected and timed with Eren's escape. I'm sure they're behind the Premier's murder too, and we know that they are. And so they're like, they need a name. And so I kind of want to unpack that because that's such like a small line, but I feel like that names are such an important thing and things like this. And I don't know if you guys know, this just all happened to like be like happening at the same time, but I'm taking this like philosophy class and it's about like oppression and stuff. And then I'm taking another class about like theorizing communication, and we were talking about like communication and propaganda during the war. Anyway, all of that to say, I feel like that giving a group a name is a very like divisive thing, right? Like if you can like point at someone and be like, it's that group's fault that X is happening, right? Like it's easier to get people to rally against them. And so I feel like the whole name thing is actually very significant because like historically, if you think about it, right, like we give groups so we can literally group people together, right? Like we give people like titles like that, or we like put them in these boxes in order to more easily blame them and more easily like rally against them. And listen, like did they really like need a name? Like everyone already knows like that they're on Eren's, like they're basically Eren's group, right? Like to some extent, it's not pulling a group out of thin air, it's giving a name to people in an already established group, right? But at the same time, like, I still feel like that it's like a propaganda mechanism to some extent, right? Like, let's call these anti-military insurgents, right? Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that. But yeah, it's a divisive thing. It's like, you guys were all in the military, but you're not, like, Jeagerists, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And the goal of the Jeagerists is what, Hange, right? And they're just having this conversation in front of her, and that's the confusing part about all this, is they're giving this intel to her, and I'm like, why? Like, tell me why, sis. Like, I have no idea why they're doing that. They're hoping to bring Zeke and Eren together. Like, that just seems so dumb, especially because I have another theory, okay? Hirazu does whatever is in their best interest, and they have come, like, you know, through the port on a ship, right? And so what I'm thinking is that if Eren snuck on a ship to get to Marley, how did Pieck get here? Could Pieck have snuck on the ship that they took here, that this lady, like, has or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, what if she let Pieck and Porco, and I don't know why exactly, but, like, they care about money. What if there's a monetary incentive to helping out the warriors, right? And so I feel like, how did Pieck get here? Well, what was the ship that recently came into port? And they're just giving the secrets away in front of her. Like, what? They'll reform the military with Eren on top. Again, this is why I think that Hange is gonna die. She's gonna get cooed because they're gonna want, I mean, I know that she's not like the leader, like that's Prixis now, right? But I still think that that's like, if that's the whole plan, like I think our theories from last week are gonna be pretty much correct. See, and so now they want to like blame the scouts, right? Because they're just like, Mikasa and Armin, they could be working with him, bro, right? Like, these guys are blaming them, right? How will you take responsibility? I'll accept any punishment, but resigning now would be an irresponsible thing to do. Besides, we don't know how many Jeagerists are still in hiding, right? And so I'm like, right? Indeed, there may be a suicide bomber standing in front of me, so he's blaming them, right? And I can't believe, like, look at these guys. They're just sitting here. This kills me. I don't know why, right? And so they're like, don't be ridiculous, right? They're infighting in front of the guests. And so I like that finally the voice of reason comes in, right? Prixis comes in. And so I think, right, I was confused at first because he said enough, we have a guest. And I was like, oh my God, where's the guest? Is it Historia? No, he was talking about the lady. And I just forgot that, like, she probably shouldn't have been there, right? We have more important things to do than bicker. Hange, who knows where Zeke is being held, right? And so, like, they explain that. They go check on Historia. That's not really all that important, right? And so they go check that out. Except for Niall. I think that Niall is gonna be like a thing because I don't know if he was drinking when all of the other like bad guys, right? The bad guys that were talking shit about Historia were drinking, and so he may be the exception and all those other ones may get turned into Titans. I don't know. Eren will attempt to contact Zeke and Queen Historia, but it seems like he's going for Zeke first, so don't worry about that, right? But yeah, protecting those two is an absolute must. I mean, that makes sense. I'm just saying that he said Zeke, so I feel like Zeke is top priority, right? Now that we've lost the premiere, the only one who can lead is you, right? And like, look at Mikasa side-eyeing Armin, right? Like, I feel like there's something about this. There's something about Armin putting basically like all of his faith and like everything into Prixis and sort of forcing Prixis to take the position, and then Prixis ends up taking a more favorable position than others may. Like, I feel like that's kind of interesting. It's like Armin almost wants him to lead because he has this opinion, right? We've been utterly beaten, let's surrender. And everyone's like, what the fuck? We can't do a thing about enemies in our midst. Even if we flush them out, who knows how much blood it would cost, right? And so he's basically saying the ends do not justify the means here. If we killed every single, like, Eldian that sided with Eren, like, that would be fucking ridiculous. And so at this point, we need to just, you know, like, accept the fact that democracy's won. They voted for Eren, in a sense, right? And so our decision made our soldiers turn their backs on us. It brought about our defeat, right? And so he's basically saying, like, hey, we kind of fucked up here. Like, we shouldn't have necessarily done this route of action. And I wonder if this conversation, like, is spurred on again by him talking to Yelina. Like, I wonder if that really affected his mindset. Anyway, the four who died wouldn't want their deaths to cause Eldia to fall. And so I think that Prixis' point here is, like, listen, if we fight against Eren, we will create civil war, and that will destroy us. And so at this point, like, we just, like, either way will be destroyed. If we fight against Eren, we'll be destroyed and our numbers will dwindle. But if we fight with Eren, and he does this plan, like, to, you know, go out and do the bads, right, like, to the rest of the world, like, at least maybe then we'll get our survival. I feel like that he's trying to take that middle road, right? So instead we submit to the Jaeger brothers. We're not submitting. Like before, Eldia's survival will depend on a test run of the rumbling, right? However, we must look past the fact that they murdered the premier. And so I feel like that he's saying this isn't submitting, like, this is survival. Like, we're not submitting to their will, but this is the only thing that we can do to live. If that's the price to prevent countless comrades from being killed, and then he says, so be it. And so I feel like that basically what he's saying is fighting against Eren would be sacrificing too much, and then after that, we wouldn't even be in a state to protect ourselves from the rest of the world. So there's really nothing we can do. We just need to pay this price. And so, again, she just witnessed this. Why? Don't be. Every country goes through this. Please wait at the port until this is all over. Right, we're hoping for Eldia's victory from the bottom of our hearts. And I'm like, lady, this is so sus. And then they talk to Mikasa, right? If anything happens, please escape to my ship. I appreciate your concern, but I'm an Eldian. I want the place I was born to have a future. Don't concern yourself with me. What are you talking about? The whole reason we came was for you, right? But then Mikasa calls her out about the money. money, but I feel like that this gave a lot of depth to her character, right? You don't care who leads the country as long as the rumbling succeeds, right? And so she reads her for filth, right? And so they say, yes, unless the rumbling's power is proven, Haizuru will hang us out to dry, right? And so I feel like that's important, right? Our investments will go to waste, and then her clan will be done for. That's the reason. And so Mikasa's like, well, you're shady as fuck, bitch. Like, this is why I can't rely on you. But then I feel like that she gives a more heartfelt and nuanced look at the situation, right? That they have had to adapt to these turbulent times, she says. And then she says, now we're best known for being wretched, money-grubbing vexens. Still, we haven't lost our pride in the clan that your mother passed on to you. And so I don't think that Mikasa expected this from her, right? And so, like, yes, like, on the surface, they're money-grubbing or whatever, but we've seen this lady, like, in how she talks to other people, right? And how she talked to Udo, right? And then how she talked to Willie. And so I feel like that there is more nuance to her character. There's more layers to her character, right, than maybe we would have initially given credit for. No matter what comes of the country, we wish to protect you. And see, I feel like she was really impacted by that. Because Mikasa, like, in a sense, like, lost her family, right? And now this lady is sort of saying, like, hey, we will protect you because you're part of our clan, you're part of our family. And so I feel like that's going to be really interesting, and I'm really interested in seeing where Mikasa's character goes with this plot line. And so we're helping Eren when he killed the premier. Nobody knows if Eren did it. Keep it down, Mikasa. People suspect us, right? And it's interesting because, again, Armin's not in the shot. Where the fuck is he, right? Whose side are you on anyway, Mikasa? Right? They don't ask Armin whose side he's on. Armin and I almost got caught in the explosion. You have to ask, right? But where's Armin? He's back there. We don't see his facial expression through this whole conversation. We don't see if he seems guilty when they talk about the fact that, you know, they're suspected. They don't talk, like, they don't pan to his face and see if he's feeling guilty about them being caught in the explosion. Like, he's there, he's just being blocked and we don't see his face, and I feel like they're purposely covering his face because if we saw him, we know Armin. I don't think Armin has a very good poker face at all. Like Prixis was saying, infighting will be our downfall. So you're okay with entrusting everything to Eren and Zeke? No, it's not good. Zeke and Yelina took precautions and were ready for this sort of situation. We have to expect they took other precautions too. We need to figure out Zeke's intentions before he makes fools of us. And so I feel like this is a smart way to go, right? Let's just hope my concerns turn out to be nothing. Again, I'm kind of really worried about like the whole like Zeke is a double agent thing. Like I'm getting a little concerned about that, right? Something worrying you? Yelina secured work for Marleyan prisoners in odd places like restaurants, for example. So obviously that's talking about Niccolo, and then we get the whole thing with hello, it is Sasha's parents, Sasha's sister, Gabi, and Falco, and we all know what's going on over here, and I think that that's going to be really interesting. Also, is it just me? Or do these kids kind of remind you of Udo and Sophia? Like, just this guy's haircut and then, like, her hairstyle. I wonder if that was sort of supposed to be intentional. And so they look so stressed out. They do not look happy at all. Like, first of all, they've seen places like this, I think, and so they're not as phased, right? But on the other hand, right, like, this is like their serious, like, get back to Marley mission, woo, right? And then we see the military racing down the streets, everything like that, and who do we have over here? None other than Pieck. And so again, how the fuck did Pieck get here? I would say that Pieck got here on a stowaway, like, thingy, on a stowaway thingy with the Haizuru ship, because I feel like for any price, right, like they want the rumbling to go off without a hitch, and like would Pieck cause a hitch? I don't know, maybe, but at the same time, like I feel like that they could do it, they could have done it, and maybe they snuck on without her knowledge even, right, like maybe she's not involved, but I feel like considering like money is a big thing for them, right, like in resources and things like that, they could have made a deal with the warriors. But yeah, I think that it's great to see Pieck here. It's great to see everything come full circle. I didn't expect them to get here this soon. Like, I'm really, really surprised. But again, if they hopped on like the Haizuru ship, like that wouldn't really be so much of a stretch. And I like that she's reading a newspaper because that's what Jean was doing, I think. In like one of the episodes, he was like sitting reading a newspaper, and I really like the callback to that, right? And so then we see Gabi and Falco seek help from a Marleyan prisoner, right? And then we see Niccolo. And so next episode, I think some shit's about to pop off, stuff is about to go down, right? And then we see Jean with the bottle of wine, but I think somebody actually like looks at the wine bottle disturbed, and so I think that like this plays plays into the whole Titan serum and the wine thing that I was talking about, because I don't think it's poison. Like, at this point, like, if it was poison, those guys would have been, like, long dead, right? Like, wouldn't they? Like, hasn't it been, like, a day or so, right? And so I feel like it must have been serum or something in the wine. Does rewarding future lie beyond the truth or something else? And then we see Gabi. I think this is Gabi with her eyes wide open. I think this is Niccolo with his eyes wide open. And so I think that our theory here is coming true. And so if you guys don't remember, it's our theory that, like, Gabi and Falco will be like, ha ha ha, like, hi Niccolo, like, we're Marlians, right? And then he'll figure out that they're warrior cadets, right? Because, like, why else, you know what I mean? He'll connect the dots. He'll remember what they told him about how Sasha was killed by a couple of kids, by a couple of, like, warrior kids, trained to kill, right? He'll connect all the dots. He'll freak out. They'll freak out, right? And it'll be a big thing, and it'll be a big blowout, and everyone will freak out, and I'm very excited. And then you have Levi and Zeke in the woods, and I feel like that the shit's about to pop off over there too, and I'm excited for it. But otherwise, I think I'm done. I think that I theorized enough. So basically right now we have Titan serum theory, that, like, a bunch of people are gonna turn into Titans. We have that, like, Gabi and Falco theory that they're gonna get called out, and after that I don't know what happens, right? Pieck is around. Maybe what will happen is, like, they get called out, like Gabi and Falco, and they'll run away, and then they'll, like, bump into Pieck, because it's like, people may be like, oh, that's such a Deus Ex Machina thing to just bump into Pieck, but at the same time, like, when you think about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, how big is this? How big is this island? And when you're inside of the city, right? And so Pieck could easily be nearby, right? And so, yeah, that is basically all from me, guys. I think that we're done anyway. Yeah, we don't have any more screenshots. Just wanted to double check. Children of the Forest, again, kind of sus about what's going on in that forest, Zeke. But yeah, that is basically all from me, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next week. Bye!